Hello, all. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Don't know why. I don't know. The whole put a video out, do this. It's mostly relegated to the weekends. I have time during the week, but I won't. As you can see by the thumbnail, I'm doing a Tom Petty album ranking. Now, just to get right off the bat, I don't have all the albums. I do believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 albums with a couple of side projects, a couple of pre-Heartbreaker projects being Mudcrutch, and of course the Traveling Wilburys. I'll show a Mudcrutch album, but I'm not going to get into the Traveling Wilburys because it's kind of something different. But we'll get into the Tom Petty album ranking. I saw Tom Petty twice. I saw him on the Full Moon Fever tour, and I saw him on this. He played. I should have researched it, but I saw him at Madison Square Garden. He played with a couple of bands. There was a Del Fuegos, or the Smithereens, Black Crows. I actually honestly forget. No, it wasn't the Black Crows. Because this is like in the 80s. You can look it up. But good show, man. Good show. This was in like 87 or 88. He had like this... he had a name for it. It's like some traveling... I forget. Look it up. Look up the 87, 88 tour and you'll see what I'm talking about. I know that's not where... It's not very good to start off a video, Franco. Or White the Monkey. Or wherever you are. But whatever. So let's just begin. I'll try to keep it to a minimal, just because my longer form videos get like 0 views. Some of my shorts get like astonishing views. Don't know why that is. Short attention spans, maybe. Anyway. So Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, American rock band. Formed in 76. They formed a little before that with this band Mudcrutch, which they actually reformed. And it's literally almost Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, except they have Tom leading on guitar or bass or what? No, he's on guitar, second guitar. And this is their second album. I just love this cover though. This is such a fantastic cover. Just awesome. They have another album before this, and I guess he just went back to his roots. I think it's pretty cool. It's a great album. This album's actually very good, and so is the other one. See, Tom Petty's one of these artists that didn't put out a bad album. Just did. Some of them are, they're okay. There's not one album that's not unlistenable. It's just like that. So, like I said, he formed the initial core of the band in 76. They were from Gainesville, Florida. They went out to California to find their fortune and fame. And it was Tom Petty. It was Ron Blair on bass. It was Benmont Tench on keyboards. Mike Campbell on guitar, and Tom Petty, leader, on guitar and lead vocals. And it's weird that, like I said, I know all this band's I know all their names. Not something you'll see anymore. You might know the singer, but you won't know who the bass player is, or the drummer, or the keyboard player. You just won't know it. It's just weird. It kind of ended about 20 years ago. But let's get on with it. So... at very last, I have Mojo. Mojo actually came out in 2010, and it went to number 2 on the charts. It went pretty high in the charts. I don't have sales figures because they kind of stopped doing that because don't know why. I guess streaming kind of took over. Streaming started to take over. But I don't have this album, so I won't be showcasing it. I could show you what it looks like in this magazine here. Hang on. So that's the Mojo album cover. There you go. 2010 album. That comes in last for me just because I really don't know anything about it. I've heard a couple of songs. What that really sticks out at me is that whatever. Then we have The Last DJ. That came out in 2002. So there was quite a gap between records there for the Heartbreakers. Last DJ album right here. This is number 15. Number 14. This was a soundtrack album. Now, there's some good tracks on here, like Walls and California and Angel Dream number 2. Nothing spectacular. I think the album went gold. It came out, when was it came out? This came out in 96. Went to number 15 on the charts. Went gold. It was a movie. I think it had Jennifer Aniston in it, some other chicks. Yeah, stop it, man. You're being sexist. No, just how I talk. Interesting yellow cover, right? Ed Burns directed the movie. So that's number 14. 16, 15. Oh, and then I have You're Gonna Get It, their second album, which I don't have. Fantastic. It's a good album. She's a woman in love. Is that what it's on there? Let me look. I forget. Because I don't have the album. I have listened to the album. I have heard the songs on You're Gonna Get It when Magnolia. I need listen to her heart. Listen to her heart. That's the big song. Went to number 23 on the U.S. charts. Came out. When was it released? May 2nd, 1978. Don't have it. So that's number 13. It's number 13 for me. Then we have at number 12, Long After Dark. Long After Dark. Released in, let me see, I know, this is, I'm sorry if you're struggling through this video. Long After Dark. Released in 1982. Most famous song on here is You Got Lucky. Straight Into Darkness is a good song. As I keep having to stress, he doesn't have a bad album. Like I said, some of these records I just don't listen to all that often, but they're good albums. They just released an anniversary edition of this, like a box set or something. I don't know. Then we got Southern Accents, which is number 11. Big song after here, Don't Come Around Here No More. This is in the MTV age. This was a huge song for them. And of course, Rebels is on here. Make It Better, Forget About Me. Okay, good album. I liked Don't Come Around Here No More. It's not something I go back to. It's not something I'd put on a mixtape. I did that with Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. Did a couple other tracks on here with Dave Stewart also. Does it list it? No, it don't. Okay, so then we got number 10. Into the Great Wide Open. As you get into the 90s with Tom Petty. This is the 10th album. This is a big album for me. I don't even think it went top 10, though. It did go double platinum. It was released in 93, I believe. Is it 93? Look at my sheets. My papers. No, 91. 91. Very pivotal year in rock music. But 91. There you go. Of course, the big songs on here, Learning to Fly, Into the Great Wide Open. All the Wrong Reasons. All the Wrong Reasons almost sounds like Free Fallin'. As a matter of fact, the rest of the Heartbreakers used to call this song Re-Falling. Just say it. Okay, so then we got the last Tom Petty and Heartbreakers album. This one, Hypnotic Eye. And this came out in 2014. First number 1 album. Solid album. That's why it's coming in here at number 9. And then we have Tom Petty's debut from 1976. What can you say about this? Interesting. When this album came out, it didn't really do much. I think it went top 60 on the pop album charts. Even though it had American Girl, Breakdown. He actually had to go over to England to get... He was more popular in England than he was in the U.S., right? And he got lumped in with this whole new wave thing that dogged him for like his first 3 albums. Not that it dogged him, he didn't really care, but he was considered punk new wave. I don't know, I guess because they wore skinny ties and black leather or something. Interesting, though. So, hang on. Okay, then we have Hard Promises. I think this is from 82. This is when Tom Petty had a whole thing with the record company. He was going to call this album, I think, 698 or 798, because the greed of Hollywood and the music industry, they wanted to have this a higher price than he thought was reasonable. So he fought the record companies incessantly on this, and this was, I think it was 82, I believe. No, 81. 81. So, as you can see, he's in a record store. The whole thing, he was just fighting the record companies. Because he was a man of integrity. The Waiting. I don't know why this song didn't go top 10. It's one of his greatest songs. I think it's produced by Jimmy Iovine. Yeah. Don't get it. Really don't get it. Just don't understand. Okay, so now we have a number 6. Number 6, Wildflowers. This was released in 93, I believe. 94. Wrong again, monkey. 94. Wildflowers. Great album. Produced by, Rick Rubin. And, of course, we have... This is an anniversary issue. Wildflowers, fantastic song. You Don't Know How It Feels, one of his top 10 songs. Time to Move On, You Wreck Me, It's Good to Be King. It's a classic album. And the reason that I'm putting his solo albums in there is just because almost 3/4 of the Heartbreakers are in it, if not more. Okay. Then we have his last solo album, Highway Companion, which came out in 2006. Went gold, apparently. I like this album a lot. I really like this album a lot. Yeah, it's number 5 for me. It's just, Turn That Car Around and Saving Grace and Square One. Just great stuff. And then we got this late 90s album. Now, Ron Blair had left the band, I think, after their 3rd or 4th album. That was a bass player. And they got Howie Epstein. Howie Epstein had left at this point, and they made this album, Echoes. I think Ron Blair eventually did come back. This is a double album, released in 99. This is a fantastic album. It's a darker album. Rhino Skin is here, Room at the Top, Counting on You, just the whole thing. Just great stuff. And my number 3 album is from, what is this? 79, Damn the Torpedoes. This album that broke him into the stratosphere of superstardom. Of course, you got Here Comes My Girl, Even the Losers, Don't Do Me Like That. Great. Refugee. Great record. I think this went triple platinum. And then we got his biggest selling album of all time from 1989, Full Moon Fever. Who doesn't know about Full Moon Fever? 5 times platinum in the U.S. I think it went to number 3. Can you imagine this album going to number 3? Don't understand. But you all know the songs on here: Free Fallin', Won't Back Down, Running Down the Drain, ba ba ba. Great album. Now, this is a surprise. This is my favorite Tom Petty album. This right here, Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. This came out in 1987. This is the first time I saw him on tour with that group of other artists. I should have looked up, but I didn't. And there you go. There you go. My number one Tom Petty album. Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. I just love the whole album. It's got a very 80s aesthetic to it. But this is songwriting. It's fat. And this album didn't even go top 10. It went gold at the time. Well, maybe years after. But Jammin' Me, which he wrote with Bob Dylan, Runaway Trains, top 10 songs by him. The Damage You've Done, It'll All Work Out, great. Just Let Me Up, I've Had Enough, sounds like Vintage Stones. It's just fantastic album. So there you go. There you go. That's my top 10 records. Number 1, Let Me Up, Have Had Enough. Full Moon Fever. Damn the Torpedoes. Echoes from 99. Highway Companion from 2006. Wildflowers from 94. Hard Promises from 81. Debut album from 76. Hypnotic Eye from 2014, the last album he did with the band. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open from 91. 85, Southern Accents. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Long After Dark. She's the One soundtrack from 99. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Last DJ. Oh, and then I forgot You're Gonna Get It and Mojo. Even though placing's a little off. But, and then of course you have the Mudcrutch albums, Traveling Wilbury albums, and you have this monster of an album, Their Greatest Hits, which of course has one of their most popular songs, Mary Jane's Last Dance, and, which was produced by Rick Rubin. I think this album has gone diamond. That's 10 million records. They did sold 12 million records. Didn't go number 1 though. I just love it. And then, of course, I got to showcase the periodicals. Anytime, I don't know how any music fan is not all over these uncut magazines. And believe me, they got newer ones. They got, you can buy ones by Taylor Swift and Lana Del Rey, and they're just fantastic. It's just a whole thing of Tom Petty in here. It just reviews every album. It's got vintage interviews from the 70s all the way up to the time he died. And he died in 2018. Unfortunately, it was kind of overshadowed by another tragic event in Las Vegas at the time, which I don't really want to delve into for no particular reason. But there you go. So my ranking of Tom Petty. This is my number 1 album. Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. With that, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.